Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. So I really wanted to have an interaction with you because we had a long discussion,
Yeah,
and I came to know that you have been a vivid investor in different countries. Which all countries have you tried out real estate investment
I
in?
have tried out in Taiwan, in Dubai, and if you speak about India, Chennai, Delhi, Bangalore, and now hopefully if everything goes well, maybe in Kochi.
Kochi.
Right,
So I majorly focus on Indian market.
right.
So let's say Kochi, Bangalore, that's where really I discuss about. But you have a great exposure over investing in different places like Taiwan.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to speak and understand exactly what have you done there, and I want a clear picture about it. So
Okay, so the thing is, I've been living in Taiwan for the past 21 years,
okay,
and I have a presence in Dubai also, and to some extent in India also. So basically, what I wanted to talk today is for the benefit of your viewers also, how's the real estate market different in these countries?
got it.
And what are my perspectives when it comes to the Indian market per se, real estate? So if I talk about Taiwan, for people who know, it's a very small country. So there is very limited space.
Hmm,
The population is hardly 2.5 crores.
got it.
So the properties are very expensive there. Even in downtown, in a downtown area, the properties run into crores. So the good thing about Taiwan is, and I'm now comparing it with the Indian market, when it comes to buying a house, there is no such thing as a RERA registration or anything
In Taiwan.
in Taiwan
Okay.
because the builder is legally supposed to complete the building.
Okay.
If he doesn't do that, the government chips in.
Oh,
So from that perspective, even if it is under construction property, and let's say the time given to me is after 3 years, I'll blindly go and invest in that because I know that after 3 years I'll get the property.
hmm. Okay. So that's basically about the strong aspect of legality there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
when you compare it to India, before RERA, we all knew what was the situation. But I think RERA, to a very huge extent, it has solved this problem of buying an under construction property.
Hmm.
So, as an investor, what I want to say is the condition in India has improved from an under construction perspective.
Got it.
Because I know many people are scared to lose money in under construction
Hmm.
or they don't know whether the building will be completed. But RERA has sorted out a lot of things in this segment.
Got it.
Now, that's the first point that is there. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say is when I look for a property in any country,
Yeah.
people talk about price. Of course, price is always a very important thing. For me, if I want to put it in a nutshell, it is convenience. When I say convenience, the first thing that I think about is the location.
Hmm.
Location for me is the prime thing because I have a family. The things that are around that location, like a school or a hospital, they matter a lot to me. It could be any country.
Hmm.
It's irrespective of geography.
Okay.
And that should be the first consideration of most real estate investors,
Got it.
not the price point. You might get a property at a very low price in some location, which is miles away from here. That's not going to give you anything.
This you're talking all across any
It's
market,
any market,
not just India or any.
irrespective of whether you are an investor or or you are buying a house to actually live there.
Correct. Yeah.
Even from an investor perspective, if, let's say I'm just investing money in the house and I want to make a return on it after 3 or 5 years, I would never buy it in a location which is not suited to my needs.
Hmm. Okay.
And if today we are sitting in Cochin, and if I am going to look for a property, the first consideration would be location.
Okay.
So this is something common which is there in all the countries.
So if I first come into India, you have tried out almost all South Indian
Yeah.
countries, and what has been your criteria of selecting those projects, and what was your experience like? Were you investing in land or like?
Okay. So that brings us to a very important question about land versus a finished house or a finished flat. So for me in India, my first option has always been a finished product. It could be a flat, it could be a villa, because I can see the returns on it fairly quickly.
Hmm.
Whereas in land, and I'm only talking about India, whereas in land, there are so many legalities, despite being RERA registered, that it takes a lot of time
Yeah.
to actually go and do the due diligence on it, whether I should invest on it. But having said that, for serious investors who want to invest in land, I would always suggest one thing, that buy a land not in some very far place from the city, relatively closer to the city. And if it's closer to the airport, I'm only talking about land,
Right.
not a flat or a
Okay,
villa.
got it.
If you have a land near the airport, it's always going to give you returns, because airports in any big city, they are the centers of people coming out and going out. If you have seen uh, two segments, one is the travelers, the second is the IT segment. These two segments, the land prices will be little bit higher than the other areas. Now, just because these land prices are higher doesn't mean that you should not buy them. You will always see appreciation in them.
Got it.
So that's my take on land.
Land investment.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to residential, you spoke about the 2016 post 2016 RERA has came into picture. Now there is a good trust
True.
in consumers space in related to under
True.
construction projects.
True.
So, what is your take on that actually? Like,
Okay, so I would, despite having RERA now, I would say my confidence is still 70-30 on that, because the first thing I mentioned was the location. The second thing I mentioned was the RERA thing. The third thing, what for me also matters, is the reputation of the builder. So, for example, I would never invest in a residential flat or building which has been started by a builder who's hardly 2 or 3 or 4 years old. So I would always invest in a builder who has at least got a reputation of 20 to 30 years. Why? Because they have proven it. So tomorrow, even if for any reason they get into any trouble, I know that they will complete the project. I know RERA is in place.
Yeah.
But the other aspect of RERA is there are still delays. So the third important thing, I'm going back to the start of our conversation. In any location, Taiwan, Dubai, or India, I would always look for the reputation of the builder. And that has to be done through a lot of research, because there are a lot of house agents. You see a lot of ads in the paper and other things. But unless the investor himself does his due diligence on the builder, it's not going to work out.
Exactly. Yeah, because I do a lot of work. My predominant business is into pre-launch.
Right.
So I have certain systems in place where I do the due diligence, because you really can't just blindly invest on the location and price on a random builder.
Exactly.
So certain thing I generally go for, as you said, the history matters a lot. If you go through their previous project,
Right.
you will understand their credibility.
True.
Speaking to the previous customer also give you a great credibility. You
Exactly.
have to visit the location.
So you mentioned a very good point. One is the reputation of the builder, and all investors should actually take the feedback of previous customers if they can get hold of them. And it's fairly simple, because you get, today's the world of Google and all these things, you can actually even find it on the net. That's very important. And as you mentioned, you mainly do pre-launch, and we know each other for some time. The builders that you do with, I'm sure they are reputed and they have been in the industry for quite some time.
Right.
And those kind of projects, I would blindly trust.
Right.
Not because I have any relation with you,
Correct.
but because I have done the due diligence on those builders, and I know that if you're working with those builders, you will be actually, it will be trustworthy.
Yeah, because since I've associated with a lot of builders, we understand the way they operate. Their previous, even recently, I visited a project. They have phase 1 and phase 2.
Right.
Phase 1 handover was done. It was in Bangalore. Phase 2, we have launch coming.
Right.
So when I was shooting for phase 2, there were phase 1 customers sitting for the evening walk and all. So I sat with them. So we had an interaction with the people who are already staying there. So we get a clear picture about the builder.
Right.
We get everything. That work is very important.
Very true.
So as a consultant, we do that.
Right.
So those reports are majorly what we share it with you.
Exactly. And word of mouth is what works in this industry, especially from an investor perspective.
Secondly, I would like to understand, you have invested in Chennai, Bangalore, and everything. What is the investments you have made? Like, was it totally land, or like you have done residential investments also?
Mostly it is residential. Mostly it is residential. A part of it is land. And why the investment on land is lesser is because I don't live in the country. So for me to get into the legalities and checking everything is kind of difficult. But Having said that, doesn't mean you should not invest in land. Land is still a very good.
Very good. Well, you have a passive income stream from residential.
Yeah. So it's mostly rental, and which brings me to the point of the location part. So location is also important, and it's common knowledge to everyone. A good location always yields a better rental.
Correct.
And my philosophy has always been that if I take a bank loan from anywhere, my rental in that area, it should cover at least 60% of my EMI. This has always been my philosophy.
Okay.
And that's where the location comes into the picture. If I buy a house in some faraway location, I won't even get 20% of my EMI. And I've done the study for this.
Right.
So my criteria is to get a place in a location which will actually cover a large part of the EMI on the loan.
So you really need a good corpus to start investment. Don't go completely on loan and get stuck on the 20-year commitment.
See, so this is a very valid point that you have taken out. There is a very simple rule that I follow, that if I make an X amount of salary, after deducting everything, my expenses, it could be a school expense, it could be my living lifestyle or everything, I keep aside 30% after that. So putting into perspective, let's say I earn 100 rupees per month.
Right.
And let's say my expenses are 50 rupees. So I'm left with 50 rupees. On that 50 rupees, I take out 30% and put it somewhere else in a bank account, which I never touch.
Yeah.
The balance 20 is what I play in terms of investing.
Okay.
I would never go beyond this 20.
Got it.
So that's how I do that. And why? Because what many people, especially I have seen in India, what they do is that their salary is a certain amount, and owing to peer pressure or any kind of societal pressure, they go and buy a property or a land on a huge EMI.
Correct.
Their main goal is only to buy a house. They're not looking at the interest rate. They're not looking at the EMI. They're not looking at whether it's the interest rate is floating or fixed.
Yeah.
And then they get stuck because their income is not justifying their means of actually supporting that income. And I have seen a lot of cases like this. So my advice to all investors, I mean, especially the younger generation, because I've seen, so I'm the MD of a company here, and I have a lot of colleagues. I've seen the younger generation; they are very keen on buying a house without actually looking at what are their finances. And if they don't do that, they'll get stuck very badly.
Correct.
So that has to be kept in mind.
Got it. And out of all the investments you have done in Bangalore, Chennai, and like Kochi, what is the like why you opted these places? Is it because you have family grounds there?
Yeah. So it was mostly because of personal factors. So Bangalore, my family used to live in Bangalore earlier, and we thought we'll be living there for a long time. So we bought something there, and then we moved to Chennai. So that happened. And for Kochi, because my relative is from Kochi, and I didn't have an investment in Kochi, but for Kochi, I'll tell you, because we are sitting in Kochi, more than the personal aspect of it, I see a very tremendous potential in the Cochin real estate market, be it land, be it residential. Why? Because there is a scarcity of space in all the big cities now.
Right.
And Cochin is catching up. But the good thing about Cochin is its centralized location in the south. Even as an NRI investor, if I'm living in Dubai, it's hardly a 3 or 4 hour flight. That's number one. Number two, a lot of developments happening in Cochin, like the 6-lane expressway. And number three, a lot of good schools, international schools are also coming up. And I don't have to tell about healthcare because I have personally seen a lot of people from the Middle East, not even Indians, the Arabs, even Africans coming to Cochin to get treated. So for me today, if I talk about the south of India, Kochi is actually got a huge potential to raise the bar in the residential market.
Space.
Yeah. But the thing is, again, my point would be the same. Just because Kochi is developing doesn't mean that you invest blindly. if you forgot all the things that I told you earlier, especially remember two things at least. One thing is the location, one thing is the builder. These two are the absolute must.
That's the major criteria of investing in.
True.
Very true.